Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Catherine Rule, and today I'm going to show you how to dye this t-shirt. So I did this t-shirt as a Shibori stitched pattern. So I'm going to show you guys how to do the stitching. And this one was ice dyed with just Shiitake from dharmatrading.com, and I'll put the link to that dye down in the description below. Ice dyeing is a really cool process, and you can use colors that split. Shiitake is a color that's split, and I also have a video with brushed steel, which is another color that splits, and I'll put that in the card up above, so you can go check that out if you want to see it. So this one is done over a screen, which is not in the muck. It's a over a rack or over a screen will work for this type of dyeing, and it will give you a lot of resist that way. So anyway, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more dyeing tutorials. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is wash my white t-shirt. So that's not shown, but just FYI, that is the first step. Then I'm going to start to sew the stitches on the pattern that I like to do. So I'm just going to do a large basting stitch, and I'm going to start on one side of the t-shirt and work my way to the other side. You can do any pattern you like. I'm choosing to do a sort of wave pattern that's not too curvy, but a little bit curvy. So I'm going to do another line of stitching along the first line, and I'm going to do that for each line. So you can see here I have a few more done now. I have 2 sets for every line that I want. So each set of stitched lines is going to just be one pattern once you get it all gathered together and ready to dye. So I'm just going to keep going, always making sure to have the knots on one side and the tails on the opposite side, keeping it consistent for myself so that it's really easy when I'm ready to tie them up. So here is the shirt. It's all sewn up, and I'm going to gather it next. You can see I have some little tails on the ends on this side. And then on this side, I have the knots. So that's how I'm going to secure them. And next, I'm going to scrunch it up and gather it. So this step is a little tricky, and I would be very, very careful when tying these knots together. I like to use a square knot just to make sure it's super strong. And I'm going to just tie them all off along the whole side with the knots. So I'm going to go one by one and tie them. So once I get them all tied, I'm going to carefully take the loose ends on the opposite side and gather the stitches. So I'm going to grab both tails together, because that's their buddy, and gently but firmly gather it. It's really easy to break the threads here, so I would recommend using a strong thread. This one, you can see that one broke, but I'll just go back and fix it. That's pretty normal. So anyway, I'm going to go back later, but in the meantime, I'm just going to tie off all of these threads that are already gathered, and just be very careful when doing it. So if you do break a thread, it's really fine. You can just rethread your needle and go in and re-stitch a line next to the line that's not broken, or if they're both broken, just re-stitch. It's no big deal. It happens all the time, and it's another reason to use strong thread if you have it. So I'm just going to keep going and tie it off again and regather it, and I'm almost done with this one. Okay, this one's going in for ice dyeing, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I just stitched it up, I'm doing a wavy line, and I'm going to soak it next in the soda ash. So I have about 2 gallons of water in here, and I'm going to put in about 3/4 of a cup of soda ash. I'm just using what I have. I think that you could use a little more soda ash if you have it, but this is what I have, so I'm just gonna use it. And I've used more and I've used less for ice dyeing, so I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, so now I'm gonna add my t-shirt, and I'm just gonna submerge it, and I'm gonna let it soak for an hour. All right, I'll let that sit, and then I'm going to set up the rest of my ice dyeing contraption. All right, so I'm going to put my t-shirt here on the screen, and I'm going to arrange it like that. And I'm going to put some ice on it. Now, I'm gonna need some more ice here. I had to go buy some ice, so I didn't have enough in my freezer. So, put it on top. And it's always good to have some for later. So we'll let it melt a little bit and see if we should add more ice. Now I'm wearing a mask because I'm going to put the dye on next, and the dye is powdery and it likes to get everywhere. So I definitely would recommend wearing a mask. Especially if you're doing it inside, which I am. Now I have a screen here, and this is a Rubbermaid that I have that is just very convenient. So I'm going to use shiitake mushroom here. It's fiber reactive. This is from Dharma Trading. All right, I'm just gonna put a little bit on slowly. A little bit goes a long way. Okay. All right. Okay, I think that's plenty for now. Maybe a little more right in the middle there. All right, so we're gonna let that start to melt, and as it melts, the dye is going to hit the fabric all at different points. And so you can see it's already starting over here, and it's looking kind of purpley. So I'm gonna just let this do its thing and come check back on it later. Okay, so it's been a few hours, and you can see that it's melting quite a bit, and you can see some of the dye in there. I like that it has quite a lot of white in it. Not sure if I want to put more ice on it or not. Maybe I will. I'll see. give it a little more time before I decide. So this has been sitting overnight and all of the ice is gone. So I'm gonna open it up later. I'm gonna let this just keep sitting. But I think it looks really interesting. I can't believe this is one color. All right. So this thread is really easy to break. Possibly too easy to break, but that's okay. Okay. This turned out really cool. I thought maybe it was bleeding too much, but I think it's all right. I'm gonna rinse it and see what comes out, because it's been quite common for me when I do these ice dyes that they do rinse out quite a bit lighter. So I'm just gonna see what happens with this one, but I think it looks cool. It looks very geological, and you know, I wanted a really even distribution of like white and color. So I'd say I achieved it. Here's the back, which is also really nice. And I didn't use that much dye on this one. Probably about 1.5 teaspoons, truthfully. All right, so I'm gonna rinse it. That's the next step. Beautiful. So now the t-shirt has been washed and dried, and you can see the colors have faded a little, but not too much. And you can see the beautiful split colors in there. It's pretty amazing how it works. Like these neutral colors especially, I think are the ones that split, because you know, if you're mixing neutral colors, you always have to use primary colors to get them. And I'm just really impressed with the way this one turned out. And I love the stitching and how much resist there is in this pattern. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, of course, you never do. But I'm really pleased with it. And I will put this one up on my website for sale if you guys want to buy it, or you can make it with the instructions I gave you. All right, thanks for watching.